BJ Mafia, what's poppin'? Jags fans, NFL free agency negotiation period and legal tampering officially opened up yesterday afternoon, noon Eastern, and I was thoroughly pleased with the job that Trent Baalke did in day one of free agency. When you take a look at signings like Mitch Morse, Darnell Savage, and Gabriel Davis, three guys that I've already talked about, I will go ahead and link to that video up above, but the Jaguars made some moves later on in the evening. Two former Ravens players, both Ronald Darby and Devin Duvernay, are going to be coming down here to Northeast Florida, and I am excited about those signings. Before I actually go ahead and get into those signings, talking about them, Jags fans, if you guys appreciate the work that I do in the Jaguars coverage that I make here on YouTube, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Jaguars coverage that I do here on YouTube, and make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me on my socials, especially on Twitter. I'm very active and I'm on there every single day. The link tree will be in the description down below. But before I go ahead and really dive deep into these free agent signings, man, I want to take a moment to give my flowers and to give my respect for a guy like Jamal Agnew. For you guys that have been following me here on the channel now or on Twitter for an extended period of time, man, you guys know I love Jamal Agnew. Me and all my homies, we love Jamal Agnew, and this guy has consistently, for the last 3 years, been a spark for the Jaguars on offense. Whether that's misdirection, reverse handoffs, shots down the field, it didn't matter. Kick returns, punt returns, he is the best returner in all of football. Top two, argue with your mother about it. I love Jamal Agnew, man. He's been a great guy. I have a lot of admiration and respect for him, and I genuinely wish him nothing but success in his next chapter in his career. Obviously, 3 years in Detroit, now 3 years in Jacksonville. He is going to retire a Jags legend in my eyes, and I don't literally mean in the Jaguars Pride Hall of Fame. I just mean the fact that he literally has cleats in the Hall of Fame from his 109-yard kick return back in week 3 of 2021 versus Arizona. Just an absolute game changer, a guy who will flip the field. Great dude. I've got a little bit of a relationship with the guy, and I just want to say, man, best of luck to Jamal Agnew out there moving forward in his career. I got nothing but love and respect for him. And also, for you guys that don't know, I even named my cat after Agnew. Agnew, say something to the people. But now that I'm getting into these free agents, let's go ahead and talk about Devin Duvernay first and foremost. A wide receiver, kick returner, a Mr. Do-It-All, a Swiss Army knife. He is Jamal Agnew's replacement on this team. And the Jaguars, they value their special teams. They obviously didn't land their kicker yesterday in Will Lutz, who decided to change his mind and go back to Denver. But you've seen over the course of these last 2-3 seasons, the Jaguars have invested a lot of money onto the special team side of the ball. And this is a no-brainer for the Jaguars to go out there and get one of the best returners in the game of football in Devin Duvernay. If you look back at his time since coming into the league in 2020, former third-round pick, I believe, from the University of Texas, former Longhorn Devin Duvernay. Since 2020, he's averaged nearly 25 yards per kick return. He has 2 touchdowns on special teams and a 103-yard kick return back in 2022. This guy can flip the field and make a big play on special teams, very similar to Jamal Agnew. If you look just last season in 2023, during the Baltimore Ravens AFC Championship game run, he did have 12 kick returns last season, just 227 yards, which is about 18.9 yards on average, so a little bit lower than his normal 25 yards per average throughout the majority of his career, but he is an explosive guy to have on special teams. He can be a serviceable wide receiver on the depth chart. Is he going to get a lot of looks? No, he's not, but if you really needed him in a pinch, he could provide that on offense. Now let's talk about Ronald Darby, our other free agent that we just signed from the Baltimore Ravens, former second-round pick from FSU in 2015. Ronald Darby is now going to be coming to the Jaguars on a 2-year, $10 million contract, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Devin Duvernay signed a 2-year, $8.5 million contract. I apologize for forgetting to mention that earlier, but Ronald Darby, this is probably going to be your starting corner opposite side of Tyson Campbell in 2024, and I am excited about this signing. This is an athletic guy, a guy even at 30 years of age who's not going to be the long-term answer but can still play ball at an exceptionally good level, and I think he's going to fit perfectly into this Ryan Nielsen system, similar to what we saw with a guy like Darnell Savage. Savage is a guy who can move all across the field at free safety, drop him into the box, play the nickel. You know, a guy like Ronald Darby can play on the outside, play that press man coverage, something that Ryan Nielsen is going to influence into this defense. And I'm really excited to have Ronald Darby here. Take a look at what he did last season in 13 games for the Baltimore Ravens, including the postseason. 385 coverage snaps, 31 receptions allowed on 60 targets. That is incredible defense right there. 51.7% completion percentage when targeted in coverage. He only allowed 1 touchdown, had 5 passes deflected, and a 75.2 NFL passer rating when targeted in coverage. Now, he is going to be an outside corner. I don't believe the Jaguars are going to slide him to the nickel, because if you look at the majority of his career, from his time in Buffalo to Washington to Baltimore, it doesn't matter where he's at. He's always played on the outside. 514 of his 554 snaps last season were on the outside as a corner. Now take a look at what Ronald Darby's done since 2022. 525 coverage snaps, 31 receptions allowed on 353 yards, 1 touchdown, 10 forced incompletions, 75.2 passer rating. And like I said, I do believe this guy is going to be our starting outside corner outside of Tyson Campbell. I don't think this necessarily rules out the possibility of the Jaguars drafting a corner at 17 or at 48 overall if they can keep that pick. But I highly doubt that the Jaguars are going to invest in a corner in round 1 at this point, the way it looks. Now that you've got Darnell Savage, now that you've got Ronald Darby, and you still have Antonio Johnson that you can flex inside and out, we'll have to monitor that situation, but I'm very excited about both of these signings. Low risk, high reward type of opportunities for these guys that are going to make big impacts on defense and on special teams. Jags fans, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below about the signings of Ronald Darby and Devin Duvernay. Like I said, if you guys have not seen my video talking about Darnell Savage, Gabriel Davis, and Mitch Morse, I will link to that video up above for you guys to go ahead and see. But thank you guys so much for your continuous support, man. I'm going to try to keep you guys as monitored and updated as possible when it comes to this entire free agency negotiation period. Hopefully we can retain Calvin Ridley back soon, and we can pay Josh Allen his well-deserved money and still potentially go out there and make another high impact move that's going to really help boost this team in 2024. Jags fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And like I said, if you guys please could, go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Jaguars content that I do here on YouTube. And make sure you guys go ahead and follow me on my socials, especially on Twitter. And I'll probably see you guys in a couple of hours with some more Jaguars news, so stay updated with me. But Brett James, aka BJ, I'm out, y'all. And like always, let's go Jags.